So, I Love Boosters is a new film from Boots Riley, and once more he wields anti-capitalist satire on a level that feels like a subversive underground comic book brought to life. Now, this is a much grander project because it takes aim at a larger target in the fashion industry, but it doesn't reduce it to a single shot. It aims less like a sharp rifle and more like a missile launcher. It's also just a bonkers and colorful movie in its wacky production design and absurd twists, making for a movie as unpredictable as it is visually intoxicating. So the Boosters are a trio of shoplifters led by the weary designer Corvette, played by Keke Palmer, and she's disillusioned with the fashion industry, and mostly because she can't break into it. So she decides to team up with Sade, played by Naomi Ackie, and Mariah, played by Taylor Page, to swipe an abundance of expensive clothing and resell them to poorer communities at a lower price. Now, while the film doesn't shy away from the good they do for struggling communities, especially with the Boosters hiding out in a shutdown restaurant, it also highlights the hilarity of such an operation. So distractions become a key factor in these many heists, but the lack of employees at the many retailers makes it relatively easy to just walk out with dozens of items just shoved up your outfit here. So they just like kind of walk out all bulky with all the clothes they steal. And I guess the other thing I should mention too here is that, because it's Boots Riley, whose previous film was Sorry to Bother You, much like that movie, this film, it does have a very surprising twist here, which I will not spoil because it is too good to spoil with mere words. You have to see it to believe it. Like, it's such a cartoonish way that, like, black people try to act white that is, again, too ridiculous and funny to reveal here. So there are plenty of strange characters thrown into this quest for cloth and revenge on the corporations that dictate our necessity. Demi Moore plays the fashion elite Christine Smith, looking and speaking basically like Cruella de Vil fused with Andy Warhol, and she's driven by an egotistical desire to manipulate the world into being her canvas. Like, she keeps saying that to, stress her point, just like, I'm an artist and I need to make the world my canvas. And of course the good pushback here is like, well, maybe people don't want to be your canvas, which is a great little comeback from one of her lackeys. Lakeith Stanfield pops in as an unnamed love interest for Corvette with a warped secret that doesn't get revealed until the film's mind-blowing sex scene, which is once you get to that moment, it abruptly and hilariously switches genres between coitus. So it kind of goes from like a very romantic and erotic scene to pretty much like a horror movie, like a monster movie at that point. Another good addition to the cast here is Don Cheadle, in an almost unrecognizable role as the lecturing Dr. Jack, who is a man that is all about building up community until his scheme becomes obvious from his ridiculous diagram, which makes it pretty clear it's a pyramid scheme. Poppy Leo eventually joins the Boosters, and while she is one of the more sympathetic and relatable characters for her plight, she also arrives with just one of the many sci-fi additions that changes the dynamic of this shoplifting ensemble. There is never a dull moment in Riley's wild world of exaggerated design. I mean, clothing is impractically elaborate. Colors just pop from every surface, and buildings are like slanted in a manner that is artistically self-indulgent for the characters, yet refreshingly expressive of the vocal themes. To an oddly eccentric tune, the film finds so many angles that it never settles on a routine and constantly just throws you curveballs. Like, consider the retail stores that Corvette and her crew lift from. I mean, they're embracing an obnoxious uniformity of a single color that constantly shifts, including it shifts with the aggravating store manager played by Will Poulter, who just, he's great at playing villains here, but he just meshes into this stylish villain who was all about fashion that you just love to hate so much in this film. So there's also a scrappy charm to the visual effects in how the movie uses a stop motion and miniature techniques that not only add visual charm but also fit the otherworldly quality of the uproarious allegories and fantastical elements. And without giving too much away, this is a movie where the heroes figuratively and literally speed up a worker revolt and deconstruct the industry that has wronged them. But what might be the most daring inclusion is the sensation of victory amid radicalism. The film is already such an off-the-wall fantasy for its kaleidoscopic spitting on capitalism that melts the flavorless grime with rainbow acid, but there's a more or less happy ending to all this that, while it might be a little too hopeful, it is a wholly necessary sensation that I really appreciated in this film. I mean, what audience wouldn't want to see the evil fashion designer taken down a peg, the small businesses succeed in communities that need them, and the factory workers not die in hazardous production environments? Throughout the film, there is a hallucination of a ball of worries that constantly follows around Corvette, built from overdue bills and regret. But by the time the film ends, the ball isn't gone, but it is smaller and less intimidating. All of the problems in the world won't go away with a revolution, but it will certainly be easier to manage. So I Love Boosters is a rare gem of a movie that feels as radically essential as it is charmingly entertaining with its swirl of the surreal. Boots Riley has a gift for taking a satirical premise, slathering it with fittingly absurd visuals, and finding incredible ways to make it weirder. This potent picture of vibrant stabs with all caps art makes an experience that is equal parts eye candy and brain food. Like, Eat the Rich movies don't taste much more sweeter than this. So yeah, I love the hell out of I Love Boosters. It's another fantastic film from Boots Riley.